How's it going, everybody? This is Giovanni Vidal. You can find me at JV88_football on Twitter or on this channel. I'm going to go through for September 23rd, the Saturday 3-game short main slate on DraftKings for the EPL. But I think there's some good spots to get in to. So let's go through some core plays and then we can get into some GPP shots. Before I do, if you can like, subscribe, and help me keep doing these videos, free to you. Um, all right, so let's get into it. Again, like I said, 3-game slate, so it's gonna be hard to find some different spots, but I think I got some. We're gonna start with all games are at 10 a.m. and we're gonna start with the odds first. The biggest favorite and the one that's hard to avoid, Manchester City at home, -714, taking on Nottingham Forest, and who sits at a plus 1400 on the money line. Then we have Luton at home, plus 225 on the money line. The comeback on the visiting Wolverhampton is plus 120. And then Crystal Palace -110 at home against Fulham, and Fulham is sitting at plus 320 on the money line. So outside of Nottingham Forest, they are the biggest favorites. I mean, underdogs. The biggest underdogs on the road is Fulham. All right, so the where you would start the core build, obviously, and hard to get away from is that Manchester City side. Now, Manchester City did have a Champions League match, and they did run all their starters. It wasn't until the second half; it wasn't as easy as they would have liked. But they are dealing with some injuries, in particular to Kevin De Bruyne, and I believe Jack Grealish is still going to be out. Bernardo Silva looks to be out or at least questionable. I believe he's going to be out at least for this game. I didn't check what his actual injury was, but I believe he is out. So as far as the attack for Manchester City, despite having that Champions League match midweek, I do expect them to still run out their main guys at home. They don't want to just give up or overlook Nottingham Forest, who could give them some trouble early. So they want to get in, get their goals, and secure a victory. So up front, I expect to be Doku, Erling Haaland, Julian Alvarez, and Phil Foden. I would expect to be the front four in the attack, and then so the prices for them are relatively high, but it's not that high for the for being a -712 favorite. In particular, Erling Haaland. We all know at this point he's a brace upside anytime he's on the pitch. His shot volume does offer somewhat of a floor. It's not going to be enough to save you if he fails to get any kind of goal contribution, but he's taking on Nottingham Forest, and he has the shot volume, the penalty, the PK duties, and and the odds as uh, on this slate, on almost every slate. Haaland is usually the highest favorite to get anytime goal. Um, I I do think even just one goal, given that I don't expect the other two matches to be high scoring, I do think one goal is enough for Haaland, but it's hard to fade him anytime he's on the pitch because that brace is will drown your lineup if you faded him. His ownership is always going to be north of 55-60%, especially on a 3-gamer. You can see him at 70-75%, and like I said, one goal and shot volume of north of 4.25 per match is really going to hurt if you don't have him in there. So Holland in as a core play, GPP, cash, everything. I think you have to go for that. Alongside him, Phil Foden comes in a little bit cheaper than Doku by 200 on DraftKings. I do like Doku taking shots on him, pairing with Haaland and then with Julian Alvarez. Alvarez is also expensive. He's 10,200, but he is handling some set shares now that Jack Grealish is out now, and for the fact that Kevin De Bruyne has been out for a while now. Alvarez does have the highest floor without the goal contributions, and obviously he has been involved in a bunch of the goal contributions for this Manchester City side. He's only in at least four of his last five EPL matches. He has contributed by way of a goal or an assist. So, given that with the created chances that are sitting just slightly under four per match, and the set piece shares with Grealish out now also, so the crossing volume is there, the created chances are there, and the goal upside is there. 10,200 is too low for Julian Alvarez, so I would go with Julian Alvarez and Erling Haaland. It's going to eat up a lot of the salary, but we'll get into some pieces to try to make that fit better. As far as a third piece from Manchester City, in cash games, like I said, I do like Doku over Foden because I think a lot more people will gravitate to Foden just for the $200 savings. It would make a big difference in the rest of your construction for the lineups. And Foden does have the goal contribution upside with the side, not as far as actual goal scoring, but in 3 of his last 5 matches, and in the EPL at least, he is contributing by way of an assist, and he is taking shots on net, can draw some fouls, so he's got the makings of it. But I do still prefer Doku. I like Doku's open work volume more, and I think the ownership will come higher on Foden. So one way to get different without sacrificing the highest favorite of Manchester City, I think, is going with Jeremy Doku over Phil Foden in your Manchester City stacks. Also, Doku, even from his time and his international duty on Belgium, even without a set shares, his open play created chances, his shot volumes, and his ability to draw fouls and get some open play crossing volume is enough to still, in my mind, get close to paying off that asking price if he does fail to contribute on any of the goal contribution for Manchester City. So for me, give me Doku, Haaland, and Julian Alvarez. You can also go with Foden over Doku. Maybe in GPPs you can try to go big leverage play like Foden over Haaland with those two. Again, very risky, but if you're doing like a single bullet in like the main slate, that is one way to have some heavy leverage. Also in GPPs, I do like Rodri because Rodri is playing up. He is in the attacking midfield role. Like I've said in the previous videos, he's taking on that role vacated by Ilkay Gundogan. So he's getting up. He's taking shots at the net, and he at 7,200. It's enough that he's not going to come in with high ownership, but he can make all the difference if one goal and he's already paid off that asking price for you. And his shot volume is definitely there. I think it was 2 or 3 matches on the season so far. He failed to register like 1+ shot on net, which is going to hurt you at 7,200. But competitive matches, even against West Ham, he was able to produce like 4 or 5 shots. 2 of them hitting the target, and he did get some creative chances. So he does have the license to come up. I think he will get up on Nottingham Forest, and his any goal contribution from him is definitely gonna pay dividends if you have him in your lineup, and it is almost 2,000 or 1,500 to 2,000 savings from any other stacking pairs in GPPs like Jeremy Doku or Phil Foden. And for me, that should do it for Manchester City. You can sprinkle in some of the defenders, but their prices relative to just the goal hunting, because they're not high volume drawn fouls. I don't expect them to have to be getting a lot of interceptions and 1 tackles considering that Manchester City is one of the top sides in holding possession. So any of the defenders you want to sprinkle in, I couldn't blame you for it. For me, it's a little bit too high on the price for like Kyle Walker and Gravio. Maybe even Ruben Diaz. You really need a clean sheet, and at over 4,000 for any of those defenders, and close to 6,000 for Walker or Gravio. I'm not gonna take chances on that to chase the clean sheet. I don't think it's necessary. I think the attack is the way to go. From the Nottingham Forest side, I don't have much interest in. Their prices are not reflective to the fact that they're massive underdogs. Morgan Gibbs White is still sitting at over 8,500, 8,600 on DraftKings, so it's hard to get that in when you consider that he's not really finding the back of the net for the Nottingham side. I don't think he's gonna get enough crossing volume. He's not someone who draws a lot of fouls, so his shot volume and his crosses, I don't think it's gonna get him to pay off that asking price. Caleb Hudson-Odoi did well in his first game back from Nottingham Forest, but let's not forget who that was against. It was against Burnley, so he found the back of the net. He did have great shot volume. 7,400 is too high for me. Maybe in GPPs if you want to do a one-off, running it back with Hudson-Odoi just as a leverage play. I think that price of 7,400 is going to keep his ownership way down, and the fact that they're heavy underdogs. He doesn't have set shares. It's a goal or bust at that price range for Hudson-Odoi, so I would expect him to be under 4% owned, even in the big field GPPs. So maybe if you get one or two lineups with him, if you're running like 20 plus, or try to stick to around that 3 to 4% range. If you do want to take chances, for me, it's I wouldn't take the chances on Hudson-Odoi in this matchup. I don't think it's the right matchup for him. All right, that's enough on that match. Moving on to the Luton versus Wolverhampton side. Luton is at home. Wolverhampton, while they're not favorites on the money line, they are the leanest to them. And with Wolverhampton, you usually have to start with Pedro Neto. The asking price for Pedro Neto is extremely high. A keynote is Luton is one of the worst sides in possession. I believe they only keep about 34% of possession in games. So Wolverhampton is going to have a heavy share of, or is expected to have a heavy share of possession in this one. And their offense is, if they're not finding the back of the net, it's not for lack of trying. They're getting shots off. They're getting drawn fouls. They're getting the crossing volume. And Pedro Neto is a big key for all that. He's what makes that Wolverhampton engine run, regardless of whether they're finding the back of the net or not. He does have a high floor with the set shares and the crossing volume, whether it's from set shares or from the open play. He's sitting at around 8.25, and it's not just against weaker competition. He's been able to get the crossing volume off against Liverpool, against Brighton, against Manchester United. So Pedro Neto is definitely in play for me. In core games, I would say he could be that one piece that you take over, say, a Phil Foden and Jeremy Doku, to still get that high floor and then get leverage, where then you could just roster all the 4 or 5 man Manchester City stacks, and then Pedro Neto, in theory, should be able to score as high as Doku and Foden, unless Doku and Foden are able to brace or get multiple goal contributions, which, according to the odds, that's not the case. You in the odds expectations would suggest that it would be Erling Haaland, and then Julian Alvarez with one, but the set shares, so the higher floor. So Pedro Neto, I do like. He will come at the cost of one of your Manchester City players, and possibly two. I mean, if you roster him, it could come at the cost of Foden, of a Rodri, which would be spend up spot, but you're getting the way higher floor in a plus matchup. So Pedro Neto at 9,300 makes sense to me. As far as the supporting cast, He Chan is a goal or bust. I know he's got doesn't even have the shot volume. He does have the hot hand at the moment for Wolverhampton, and 3 goals in 5 matches, but it's one shot. It's less than one drawn foul per match. It's less than 0.25 created scoring chances. Now, this might be the matchup where that changes. I am concerned also about his minutes. We haven't seen him run more than 70 minutes at all this season. He's usually comes in off the bench. Sometimes he gets a spot start, but if it's off the bench or if it's a spot starts, the minutes are just not there. So at 7,500, I can't get to him. For me, from Wolverhampton, it's got to be one-off Neto, and then I don't really like the prices of the supporting cast. Maybe you can take a shot, a punt rather on Matthias Kuno. He's not handling penalties, but he is getting some shots off. The 5,900 is a pretty enticing price, considering it is a only 3-game slate, and Lawton has been torched in their previous few matches. We saw him get torched by Brighton by multiple, I think 3+ goals. We saw him get torched by Chelsea, 3+ goals. Now, I do understand that Wolverhampton is not Brighton offensively and is not Chelsea offensively, but Lawton is bleeding out some chances, and Matthias Kuno, at the very least, as a GPP pairing with Pedro Neto, I think you can take some chances on it just because 5,900. I don't see it, especially at the forward spot, a lot of value. I see more of the value on the defender spots, and most forward spots are going to be taken up by that Manchester City attack of Doku, Haaland, even Foden and Alvarez, I believe, are also forward. Forward, yeah. Julian Alvarez is only forward. Erling Haaland is only forward. I'm not sure about Doku at the moment, but yeah, most people are going to jam in those Manchester City in the forward spot, and then work the defense and the midfield however they can based on their budget. Now, I will say that for goal hunting, so GPP shot, and the price is not too bad. It's actually it helps you save, and if Lawton are having trouble holding possession and giving up corner chances to a Wolverhampton, one defender that does have a knack for attacking, even dating back to last year and dating back to his time in West Ham United, attacking corners with his head, getting some shots off, even some shots on target. That is Craig Dawson. And Dawson, I think, is only one or two. I believe it's only one shot so far. One game, so far this season where he failed to get a shot off on a corner. And only one game he actually hit the target. But if you're getting that on those shots off, and his price is coming at 3,200, along with some drawn fouls, some one tackles, I think you can get away with punting one of your defender spots with Craig Dawson in GPPs. You're chasing that you're punting for that goal scoring upside. He has found the back of the net for Wolverhampton in the previous season, and he had found it on a few occasions at his time with West Ham United. So he's getting his head to the ball. He's coming in cheap, and Wolverhampton has the plus matchup, at least with possession and their high-paced offense, can draw some fouls, let that center back get to the front and take some chances at the net. So Craig Dawson, I don't mind at all. As a punt, again, we're trying to save money for those Manchester City players, and possibly try to squeeze in Pedro Neto, and then a couple of high floor pieces from the next match. As far as Jose Sa, 5,000 price. I do like a keeper at a cheaper price, but he does come in at a significant savings, almost 1,000 cheaper than Ederson, and Wolverhampton is a solid side, not as far as giving up chances, but as far as keeping less, like not giving up so many goals. I know they were destroyed by Crystal Palace, destroyed by Liverpool, and one other side. It was either Chelsea or Brighton. Hold on. Yeah, Brighton. Okay, so they were destroyed by 3+ goals. So that's why the price is hard for me to get to on Jose Sa at 5,000. But he played well against Manchester United. We all know Manchester United is terrible. So he did play really well against Everton, despite giving up uh, 7 chances on target. He made all 7 saves. So he does have the opportunity to get all those chances. I mean, they gave up 7 chances against Everton. They gave up almost 11 chances or 12 chances against Crystal Palace. So he is getting the save opportunities. It's just that many chances is really hard to keep a clean sheet. But in GPPs, I think that's a viable strategy to run with a Jose Sa and like a Craig Dawson mini stack. As far as the Luton side goes, Wolverhampton just mentioned how they have had a knack of giving up goals. So from the Luton side, uh, if he's healthy, and I don't see why he wouldn't be ready to go. Ryan Giles again. He's got the set shares. He's playing that wing back role. Open play volume is there. Like he doesn't have a lot outside of the crossing volume, but the crossing volume is enough to provide a floor. So in GPPs, he's a good floor piece because the crossing volume, almost 10 per match in a multitude of matches, and even against better opponents like against West Ham, he's still able to produce almost 10 crosses against Chelsea, against Brighton, north of 10 crosses in each of those matches. So Giles is definitely an option at home for Luton against Wolverhampton side, and he has a price tag that's not going to have him bringing in heavy ownership. In my opinion, I don't even think he'll make anybody's cash lineups because of a player that's also on set pieces from the next match that we'll get into in a minute or so. But as far as GPPs, Giles with, say, even Ross Barkley, just because he's gonna get south of 5% ownership, given the fact that he's 7,300 for that same price tag. You can get Rodri in a far better matchup, and both of them will need the shot volume, will need a goal to pay off that asking price. So maybe as a leverage play, Ross Barkley with Ryan Giles. I don't think you need to get more than 2 Luton. I think one-offs are fine, but if you want to get 2 pairings, instead of paying up for a Barkley, you can go for a Carlton Morris. He's getting at least the shot volumes. He does handle the penalties also for his side, but at least the shot volume is there. I know he didn't perform too well in his previous match against Fulham, and that's just the risk you have with a striker up top that's goal dependent. His price tag still needs some kind of goal contribution, but the shot volume, at least against better sides than Wolverhampton, that matchup against West Ham, the matchup against Chelsea, and the matchup against Brighton, all saw him get around 3 shots per match. One of those he did find the back of the net. So in GPPs, Carlton Morris, some shots on him. Again, I don't think his ownership is going to be high, given the underdog tag on Luton and his price tag being so high that that you see like Matthias Kuno coming in significantly lower. He's 400 more than Kuno from the Wolverhampton side. I think a lot more ownership is going to gravitate towards Kuno. So Carlton Morris as a pivot off of Kuno in goal hunting striker range, I think makes sense for GPPs. Moving on to the final match, Crystal Palace versus Fulham. Now, both these sides are capable of scoring. Both these sides have better defenses than they allow shots, but they allow shots from a wider angle. So to me, both you can make a case for both goalkeepers. Also, the previous previous three matches between Fulham and Crystal Palace saw like less than 2 goals, I believe, per match. Let me double check that real quick. But it was no, they saw more than 2.5 goals in 2 of those matchups. The most recent matchup was a year ago. It was 2-2 the score, and then we had going backwards. Fulham winning 3-0, but that was Crystal Palace also getting a slew of red cards 2 years ago. Both sides are significantly different than that 0-0 draw. So I still like the goalkeepers from both sides. I just can't really get to Sam Johnson because he's more expensive than Jose Sa. He's 5,300. If I was gonna go up in that price range, I would just find the extra 600. I know 600 in this kind of slate is gonna be hard to find, but I would find the extra 600 for Edison from Manchester City. But as far as Crystal Palace goes, having only kept 1 clean sheet against Sheffield United, Fulham is a far better side than Sheffield United. They've added some offense, even though they lost Mitrovic, which is a big loss. They do have Vinicius coming off the bench. He did find the back of the net in the previous match. And also they added Alex Iwobi, who I think is a great offensive player. I'd like them at Everton. I'd like him again at Fulham. I'm not sure if I'll get to him because his price tag is reflective of his split set shares on Everton and his workload there. I don't think it's reflective to his role in Fulham. But as far as Crystal Palace, Johnson, I can't get to him on the price tag. I only like him as far as GPP leverage play because he is going to see chances. We're just going to have him actually make those saves. From the Fulham side, and my favorite keeper on the slate has to be Bert Leno. And the reason is, one, the price tag, 4,200, is coming in significantly lower. He's lower than Kaminsky. So that, for one thing, that's more appealing. And he's not going to be lower than Matt Turner. But Matt Turner, despite even if he gets 4 or 5 saves, I can't see him not giving up 3+ goals in this matchup against Manchester City on the road. So for me, Bert Leno has the highest upside. Maybe not the highest floor. Goalies are always volatile with the floors, but Bert Leno, I do like him at 4,200. I mentioned in the previous videos, Fulham United is one of the worst sides as far as giving up chances. In the EPL, they give up 6.8 shots on target per match on average, which is the third highest in the EPL. But they're also sitting at the third highest saves per match. So the shot volume will be there for Bert Leno. He's proven last year and this year and in previous years outside of Fulham that he is a good keeper. He can make saves. Even if he gives up 1 goal, I think he'll have enough volume to get his to still pay off that asking price. And I wouldn't be shocked if he 2x's that asking price. 5-6 saves, even giving up 1 or 2 goals. That's still gonna get you north of 8 points. So I do like Bert Leno in cash games and in GPPs. The price is there for him, and I wouldn't say that Crystal Palace is going to run away with this matchup. I do actually like Fulham in this matchup. And from Fulham, my favorite piece from Fulham outside of Bert Leno is Andreas Pereira. He has the crossing volume, Fulham is not going to sit back and just give up a possession. They know they can come in here and get the win over Crystal Palace. So Pereira has the crossing volume. He's coming in at 6,400. He is cheaper than Ryan Giles from Luton, and when healthy, the crossing volume is there at around 6.75, dating back to last year. 6.75 average between set shares, between crossing volume, and the created chances are there also for Andreas Pereira. And Crystal Palace is despite being at home, they're still in expected goals. They're still sitting around mid tier. So and they're giving up some created chances. So I think Fulham can take advantage of it, and I like Andreas Pereira to lead that charge in the midfield. And also, if he can go back to his previous year form, some drawn fouls, he's not getting them this year, but he hasn't been getting them this year. But if you go back to a previous year, he can get between 2 and 3 drawn fouls, and then the created chances along with his floor of those crosses. I like Andreas Pereira, and I like him in cash games and in GPPs. He's got to, given the price tag, he's got to be one of my favorite, if not my favorite, core play on this 3-game slate. All right, we're gonna touch on the wingback role for Fulham because Anthony Robinson is expected to be available for the match, and I'm not sure if he gets to start or if Timothy Castagne gets the start. But here's the thing: Castagne, I like 4,100. I think he can do he can contribute with 1 tackles and interceptions defensively, and also if they push up on the offensive side, he can get some creative chances. He was good at that in Leicester a season ago and 2 seasons ago. He did well in his runs at Belgium, pushing up, getting some crosses. And if he's not, he doesn't get that many shots off, but the crossing volume along with the defensive metrics of just under 5 per match on average, dating back to last year with Leicester City. I think 4,100 is too cheap for Castagne, and he pairs well with like a defense and keeper pairing with Leno in net. If Robinson gets the nod over Castagne, I think that's even better because Robinson is way mispriced at 3,400. You know, Robinson does push up offensively. He gets the crossing volley in the open play around 2.85 per match, and then he has the ability to play defense. He's very physical with the 1 tackles, interceptions. He does commit a significant amount of fouls. He's doing better with that this year and just getting the interceptions, getting the 1 tackles, and drawing fouls on his own. But a season ago, he was having some trouble with committed fouls. But you take the good with the bad. You hope the 1 tackles and interceptions outweigh the committed fouls. And at 3,400 for the wingback role, with his crossing, his upside on the offense as far as involvement with creative chances going back to a season ago and crossing volume, 3,400, you can't argue with that. I would like him a lot better, obviously, because he's 600 cheaper than Castagne, but I'm fine with Castagne if he gets to start. All right, moving on to the Crystal Palace side, and then we'll wrap it up. I have no interest in the defenders from Crystal Palace. They're just not very high active. Josie Anderson does attack the headers, but his price tag at 3,900 for that same for that range of under 4,000, I think you're better off taking the chance on Craig Dawson at 3,200, a little bit cheaper. As far as the midfield, Eberechi Eze does it all with crossing volume, drawn fouls, created chances, and the shot volume. The shot volume, regardless whether it's accurate or not, is good enough for DraftKings scoring. So he's sitting at around 4.1 per match this season. It's consistently getting the shot volume off. The crossing volume is there when they're able to gain some set shares. He does have it sitting at around 5.25 or 5.35 per match on the year, and more importantly, the open play drawn foul rate Like I said, he does it all. And 10,000 is way too cheap for Eze. It's the drawing fouls is also sitting at slightly over more or less around 3 on average per match. So I think the question is really, because the floor is there for Eze, the floor is there for Pedro Neto, the floor is there for Julian Alvarez, and it's hard to fade Erling Haaland. So the real question is, in cash games, Foden or Doku will replace Eze or Pedro Neto. I think you can get away with Eze or Neto. For me, it might be Neto. It probably is Neto just because he's coming in about 300 cheaper than Eze, even though he doesn't have as much shot volume upside. But for me, it's Neto over Eze in core game, in cash games, and then probably in GPPs some mixture of Haaland with Alvarez and Eze over Doku or Eze over Foden. Will, especially like 2 maxes, 3 maxes, or single entries. Maybe you go Eze over Neto and Eze over Foden or over Doku, strictly just for the leverage that it will provide, because at this price, I would expect Eze to be far lower owned than Neto, and still, because of the odds, lower owned than Foden or Doku, and also because Foden and Doku are also almost 1,000 each cheaper than Eberechi Eze. As far as the attack, Edouard, his price is way too high. I understand he's finding his scoring form. He's getting the shot volume off, but I don't think this is the right matchup against Fulham. And 8,000 for a goal dependent striker, I'm going to pass on that. In GPPs, I do think it's definitely viable. But for me, it's a pass on Edouard at 8,000. If he scores a goal or he braces, then just gonna have to hope that Haaland does one better. All right, guys, that's all I got for. Sorry it took too long. I know it's 3 game slate. It took way too long. Again, if you could like, subscribe to this channel, helping keep doing these videos free. Best of luck in your contest, and I'll see you guys next time.